So how is Steve Rogers coming back in Avengers Doomsday, and he's not an old man from the previous events of Endgame, going back in time and living out a life with Peggy Carter? As we all know, he gave the shield to Sam Wilson at Endgame. There's worthy Steve Rogers or Captain America, but he showed up at the end of Endgame as an old man, as we all know. So how is Steve Rogers coming back in Doomsday young, as we all saw in the trailer? We all known this for a while. A couple theories here is that he's coming from a multiverse, but what Steve Rogers is coming from the multiverse. In the comics, there's a civilian Steve Rogers who lost the power from the serum and he went back to his old self. As we all know, people have been calling him civilian Steve in the black T-shirt and all that stuff. So is he civilian Steve Rogers? That's one theory out there that could be a possibility. I mean, Bucky was saving his butt when he was little Steve Rogers, So anyone who doesn't know that how Steve Rogers was prior to the experiment, before going to war, because he wasn't able to go to war because he was such a runt, but he had a lot of heart. That's why the doctor chose him, is because he had so much heart, and bravery. And a lot of those soldiers and, the colonel and all that stuff didn't believe in Steve Rogers prior to his serum taken and prior to the serum that made him Captain America. But he dove on a grenade when the colonel had a test. He threw a grenade and he dove on the grenade and would have saved everybody's life, but the pin wasn't pulled on the grenade. So major bravery, and we all know that kind of Steve Rogers would probably be worthy of Thor's hammer. So that's him undergoing the experiment. So maybe it's a Steve Rogers that never underwent that experience from another multiverse, So and as we all know, like I said, he lived out his life with Peggy Carter at prior to the events of Endgame, or after the events of Endgame. That's how he decided to live his life after the defeat of Thanos, and he returned the stones. And he said that he lived out all that again, like all the like Thanos and all that stuff. So maybe he lived through the events of Endgame as an old man, as old Steve Rogers. And here's the costume of Steve Rogers at SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con, and there he is with Thor's hammer, worthy Steve Rogers. But as you can see, he's got the black top and he's got the cargo pants and boots. So what's it going to be? Another theory is that there's old man Steve Rogers. As I said, at the end of Endgame, he came back as old Steve Rogers, but maybe this wasn't our Steve Rogers. You never know. Maybe he got sent here by mistake. He thought it was his universe, but maybe it wasn't. So here's a shot of Steve Rogers, worthy Steve Rogers, in the Doomsday promotion, or the Doomsday trailer. A theory that I've had for a while is it's possibly Steve Rogers could possibly be playing Nomad. I reported that about 2 months ago. There was Marvel Legends that got leaked. I still got the short on my shorts feed. It's probably from a month ago or so. But all those figures ended up being right, so I think that was a legit leak from those Marvel Legends action figures. There was a whole line of the Marvel Legends action figures for Doomsday, and I think it was legit. I really, really do. But another theory, like I said, Nomad in the comics, pretty much what Nomad means is a man without a country, and maybe that's what this Steve Rogers is a man without a country, or a man without a universe, So another thing is, like, with the leaks, I'm not going to go into the stories with the leaks and all that stuff in case they are true. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. I know him, but I'm not going to spoil it. So could he be Nomad? Nomad, he's not Captain America as Nomad. Like I said, he's a man without a country, and he was a man that was disillusioned by the government and didn't trust the government, so he went on his own. So could he be Nomad? I think that's the highest possibility, is that he will be Nomad in this. I don't know if they're going to say it, but the Russos, who directed the majority of the Avengers films, Infinity War and Endgame, and they're coming back for this one too, always said that he was Nomad, and he was started to be Nomad at Endgame. So is this the final look and the final touches for Steve Rogers being Nomad? I think it's quite a possibility. You never know. Or in this scene, he might be the shapeshifter Loki. But I think that's not a big enough possibility to do a rundown on. Another one I've been seeing on the internet, this is a big one too. I don't think this is the case, is that he's Captain Hydra. We all know in the elevator scene, I think it was was that might have been Infinity War, it might have been just maybe it was Endgame when he was trying to get the scepter, Loki's scepter, and the Hydra agents had it in the elevator. Captain America throws a nod at Captain Hydra. He says, "Hail Hydra," and that's how he acquires Loki's scepter and is able to bring it back to get Loki's scepter. But I do not think this is a possibility for this. I don't think that he is going to be Captain Hydra. I don't know, but it's a possibility. Who knows? It would be really really cool. Maybe he's working with Doctor Doom. Another theory is that he's a variant of Thor because in the first Thor movie, he's wearing a very similar outfit to Thor in the original movie. Here's another picture how he's wearing the black T-shirt and he's not wearing the same pants, but he's got the same look and he's able to wield Mjolnir. So a lot of people are saying that he is possibly a variant of Thor, but I think conceptually my biggest thing. I think that he's going to be Nomad. I think that's what he might not label himself as that, but I think he will say, "Yeah, I'm a man without, a country or a man who's just out on his own, pretty much." But the only other possibility is if he's young Steve Rogers in this movie, because he came back as old man Steve Rogers, So how is a young Steve Rogers? That's the biggest question I have. One of the biggest questions I have, other than why Doctor Doom looks like Tony Stark. But as we all know in Deadpool, there's variants out there because Chris Evans or Steve Rogers had the variant of Johnny Storm in the Deadpool universe, and it's never explained. So maybe they're just not going to explain it. There's variants out there that look like other people, other than what they look like in the 616 universe. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. I think this is one of the biggest things leading into Doomsday is just like how are these people back and why are they different characters? But let me know. Like, share, subscribe if you like the content. Like if you like the video. Share if you do want other people to see theories or get a discussion going. And subscribe if you do like the channel. It all goes a long way. Much love, everybody. It's awesome how much news we've been getting for Doomsday. I'm very excited. I think we're all very excited. I'm going to see it opening night with my buddy Josh. Have a good one, everybody. Everybody have a great weekend.